The number one fear holding principals back. How to conquer it. Hey, I'm Barbara Polk. I am here to walk you through our presentation today here on Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. Hey, we're here again. We're here to talk to our new principals, our returning principals, as we get this school year on the road. You know, as you are returning principals, there's something that goes on inside our heads that people just don't realize. We have that smile on our face and everything is just fine. We go into our office and we have our silent moments, but we don't speak this doubt that we have about the things that we have implemented or the things that we want to implement. You are expressing questions like, am I really capable of bringing this school to where it needs to be? You know you were chosen to turn that school around because you've had successes. But I don't care. In that particular moment, you're thinking, can I really do this? Or you're thinking that, will the teachers and the staff, will they buy into my vision? Will they buy into this crazy vision that I want 100% of my second graders reading at third grade level by the end of the school year? Is she crazy or what? Are they you're gonna have some doubt about that. That's what needs to happen. But you're gonna have some doubt about that. And one other question that is always on your mind. What if all these efforts that I put into turning this school around, it just doesn't happen quickly enough? So these are the questions that we're going to talk about today. So the questions that are in your head may not be questions that you have read in your research. It may not be questions that you have even talked about when you were getting your master's degree or your doctorate degree, or you were answering questions on your state certification exam. But these are things that are real, the things that actually happen in your head. So let me tell you about my experience about things happening in my head. When I graduated from high school and I went to college, I always wanted to be a teacher at my high school. Well, guess what? I got the opportunity to be the teacher at my high school, and I was ecstatic. So I worked a year, and I had all of my former teachers who I was afraid to call by their first name, because all through high school, I had always referred to them, as Mr. or Mrs. And now here I am sitting in a committee meeting with them, and I hear everybody call by their first name. I said, oh, no. I can't call Miss Mitchell by her first name. No. And my principal called me in, and he told me that he wanted to send me to a training because the state assessment was about to change, and he wanted me to go to that particular training. But little did I know, he wanted me to present all of that information to the teachers at the school during the back to school professional development. So, I was fine with that. I had it all together. I got my deck together. I had all of my presentation, all of my data, all my notes, I was just ready to go. But the night before, just something came over me. That doubt came over me. I'm thinking about, who I'm presenting in front of. Will I make any mistakes? And will they forgive me for making any mistakes? But standing in front of that room, looking at those expectant faces who are now my colleagues, I felt my confidence kind of waver a little bit. But then, I took a deep breath and then I just started speaking. And I knew that my school was going to excel because of the information that I was going to give them. I spoke to them. I could feel and see the heads nodding from the people who were in my community, the people who were in my department, who were just letting me know that everything was going to be okay. And that self-doubt just disappeared. And I went on to make an excellent presentation. And when I walked out of that room, I felt a shift. All those doubts that was in my head, they left. And the most fabulous thing is that all of my former teachers and the administrators were there to tell me that I did a great job. But I do know that within your school year, you're not going to be like a presentation that's going to happen within 60 to 90 minutes. We're looking at an entire school year, and we're looking at urgency, and we're looking at expectations that your superintendent, your board of trustees, your community have on you, the students in your community. They want to succeed, and they want you to be the one to lead that change. So let's look at some of the doubts that you may have so that we can just get those out of the way and move your school to the school that will be called a Hallelujah success story. So you're going to have doubts in decision making. You're going to have doubts in your leadership capacity. And you're going to have a doubt due to immediate results. Now, you looking at your decision making, when you started out as the principal of that school, you want to make some quick decisions. You wanted to, change your leadership team. You did not like, one assistant principal, and you want to move them to another area. And, you just the hottest thing going. And, but once you do that, and you start to feeling how people are feeling around you, and you start to get some doubts. Well, one of the things that you can do in having doubt in decision making is to remember that, some of that decision making, may cause some changes in morale. So you're going to have to depend on those people who are around you. You're going to have to listen. You cannot do this by yourself. And there's one thing that research says, and that leadership develops daily, not in a day. So you're gonna make some changes. You're gonna have some problems. You're gonna have some doubt. But you are not going to make these changes by yourself. You're going to make those changes. You're going to do those restructuring with people who you have around you. And if you want to engage in open dialogue, with your staff, you want to listen to what they have to say. And then you may want to phase some of those changes in. Because remember, even if you are the returning principal, people, they buy into you as the leader before they buy into your vision. I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care what college or university you graduated from. I don't care what your former credentials say. They're going to buy into you before they're going to buy into your vision. And the next thing is the other doubt that you're going to have in your head is that you're going to doubt your leadership capacity. And if you don't doubt your leadership capacity, I'm saying that there's some things that you need to think about. So, halfway through the year, that'll be the end of first semester. They'll be looking at your test scores. You'll be looking at district test scores. And you're going to have a time where your test scores are not improving. And you're going to think, with everything I've done, everything I've asked people to do, don't blame other people. The leadership stops with you. The buck stops with you. And there's going to be a time where you are going to doubt your leadership capacity. You are going to have to see the value in the things that you are doing. You are going to have to engage in some self-reflection, that is, talk to yourself because things are not going the way you planned them to go. You have to understand that your leadership is growing. You're going to have to understand that you have to build the confidence in yourself, and all the experiences that you are going to feel are not going to be good experiences. These are the doubts that come in your head. You are just going to just keep working. Surround yourself with a strong inner circle of people who you trust, and not just a strong inner circle of people around you to inform you, and then you decide that you're going to do just the opposite. Of course, you're going to have doubts because you think you're the smartest and the brightest thing going. And it's not going to happen if you don't listen to the people who are around you. Get their feedback. They have been there. They understand the challenges of an underperforming school. I had no idea what to expect. I had a campus of, 1,100 students. And this year that they put me at that school, this was not the first year that they were underperforming. They were underperforming the year before that and the year before that. I mean, they had come to a point where we can't be low performing again. They changed the principal before me and the principal before that principal. And now here you are. You have this. Do you not think that I felt some doubt? It was in my head. I didn't know how to articulate it. It was in my head. I eventually learned all of these things that I'm talking about now. But it was no easy job. I was able to have people around me who I trusted. And let me tell you, sometimes it was hard to trust them. Yes, it was. But but if you don't have that trust in you, then you can't expect that change. You're in an underperforming campus. And that's the third thing we're going to look at. Sometimes you're going to have a doubt because you're not getting immediate results. You may have looked at those scores at the end of the first semester and you say that I'm going to put this initiative in place. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to have, after school tutorials. You're just going to come up with all of these grand ideas in your mind. And then once they're implemented, you're not getting the results. And you're going to have some doubts. But remember, again, you can't put all of those initiatives together and think that by yourself you're the smartest thing going without asking the people around you. I just can't say that enough. Ask the people around you for assistance, for direction. Ultimately, you're making the final decision. Ultimately, when those scores come out, they're going to be attached to your name. They're going to be attached to your school. However, you are not the one that is leading that school by yourself. And you have some self-doubt. So sometimes when you do those leadership or those initiatives, sometimes it's just bad timing. Sometimes it's just not the right time. It could be that something's happening in the community. It could be that something is happening on campus with one of your strong teachers, and it's just not going to work. It could be that the district is implementing something like that. Just bad timing. Sometimes that happens. So we're talking about doubt. We're talking about doubts as the principal as to why things happen the way they happen. And we are walking around with a smile on our face and knowing on the inside of our head, that we have some doubt. And these are some of the ways to deal with the doubt. try to understand that you are growing. And this is just the process of leadership. This is just the process of leadership. Now, the doubt that some of you may be experiencing now, makes me think back to the doubt that I had when I had to make the presentation in front of my former teachers and administrators. I thought, hey, I can do this. I can just knock this out. And then the closer I got to it, then the doubt came in. But I only realized that that doubt is coming in as a signal to let me know that I need support from others, that I need to open my mouth. I once heard, and some of you may be familiar with, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Well, you got to get this doubt out of your head. You have to articulate what you're feeling. You have to confide in the people who are around you that you trust. And then do what you all come up with as a collaboration. And that's how it's done. And this number one fear that's holding you back, this is how you conquer it, with these things that we just talked about. And are you going to have some more doubts? Absolutely. Absolutely. But now, do you know how to attack at least these particular doubts that you may have? And to be honest with you, these doubts that you have, that we have talked about, can all be addressed by using your leadership team, by using the team of the people that are around you, by surrounding yourself with people who you trust and people who can give you direction. And that's how it's done. And I can expect you to grow day by day as a leader, because that's how leadership comes about, day by day, not in a big rush. And I want you to remember to join our Facebook group, Principles on the Come Up. Look at the link and go to our website. We have a link on a free 10-page handbook, How to Sustain School Success. And for those of you who may be just getting assigned to a new school, we have a school preparation checklist, which is free as well. And I'm Barbara Polk, Principles on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. We'll see you next time.